Okay, so I'm going to show you how to deploy a token on the Solana DevNet. The process is exactly the same for the mainnet, you just need to spend real money, and I don't want to do that right now, so I'm going to show you how to do it on testnet. And essentially this is the process I'm going to follow. So first I'm going to be building everything in VS Code so that I can see it, I can easily edit it, and if I want to use like an AI code assistant like Cursor, I could do that. From VS Code I'm going to go to WSL, which is Windows Subsystem Linux, I think is what it is. And the reason why I'm doing this is that annoyingly, Solana doesn't work very well in Windows. And so you don't have to, but you should download Windows Subsystem Linux. And this will be much smoother for you. And then finally, I'll go back to VS Code and I will show you kind of like just a basic DApp so we can check like that actually worked. And I guess I should quickly go through this. So first you're gonna need these things, and don't worry, I will talk about how to do this. Well, actually, the first thing that you do need to think about is WSL2. And there are some commands you can run to install this, but I think it's easier just to install through the Microsoft Store. For me, this was the easiest way. In this tutorial, I'm using Ubuntu 24.04.1 LTS, long-term stable, I think. I'm sure it will work the same on any of these, but just if you want to be exactly like what I'm doing, this is the one I'm using. And again, through the Microsoft Store, you can really easily install this. And actually, one other thing is when I run Linux, I run it as administrator. So you can probably see here, right? These are the options for this Windows thing the Ubuntu thing I was just talking about. I always run as administrator just because I want to be safe. So yeah, so that's what that is. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's just a big terminal window, and we're going to use that later. Let me just make it the right size though, so that it's ready to go later. Okay, so we're not going to do any of that now. Let's go back to this guide. So yes, you need WSL2, and the 2 is important. Make sure you get that. I'm going to be using VS Code. You can really use whatever you want, and I'm going to be doing this in Git just so I can share this with you guys later. The first steps are all the things I'm doing in VS Code. Like first, it's going to make the folders. Actually, let's just run these as I'm talking. So first it's going to make these folders. Let me do that right here. Let me put that in. And it should make these folders. There you go. Made only 2 folders. Why is that? Let me take a look. Okay, it's inside of that one. Okay, so it made these 2 folders. Inside of the front end, there's actually a third one called JS. The next thing I'm going to do is create the files. And so I'm going to pause and just create these really quick, and I'll show you what the result looks like. Okay, so I have them now here. The first one I made was the package.json. This is in the WSL deployment. This is, to be honest, really not that important. In this WSL deployment, it's really not going to be much. It's just going to keep our logs and stuff. So that's there just to be there. The other one I made is the index. This is what we're going to be using at the end to check that everything worked correctly. And again, this should be really basic. You can see it's got the CSS at the top, and then it has some of the buttons down here. So like token balance and send tokens, burn tokens, all that. So I'll show you that in a second. And then the final one is the app.js. This plugs into that HTML file I just showed you. And you can see it's running on DevNet and has all of these imports here. So pretty basic stuff. And I believe that's all we have to do in VS Code before we actually start to do stuff. So let me check. Okay, so we got that. And okay, yes. Oh, the final thing I guess is we can commit this into Git just so it doesn't give any issues. Let's do that right now, right here. Okay, cool. So done. Now I've updated to GitHub. All right, now we can do the fun stuff. So this is in WSL. Like I said, I would recommend running this as an administrator, just so it's able to do everything correctly. Let's make this window the right size before we begin. Okay, there we go. That's good. I gotta be precise. All right, here we go. So I have in my guide very helpfully broken it down into chunks. So the first thing we're going to want to do is install all the stuff we need, right? So it's going to first update this Linux. It should be fresh because we just installed it, but anyways, it's going to update. Then it's going to install all of the things we need to have inside of Linux in order to do this, right? So things like package configuration, compilers. It's going to be installing the Solana files. You can see it's doing it from this website. This is how I do it because in the past you can try to run the commands. You may have issues, so I like to do this one instead. So it's going to install all the important stuff, and then it's going to check these things. So I can just copy paste this into WSL, paste it in, boop. Oh, I totally forgot my password. Give me a second. Okay, I think I remember. Enter. Cool. All right, so it's going to be installing these things. Notice there is a password. So when you first install WSL Ubuntu, you're going to have to make an account. It takes like a second. And that's just so if you ever update any of the key files and stuff like we just did, you have to first log in. Okay, so it's going to go through and install all this stuff. Notice here it's installing Rust. Solana files are always written in Rust, which is one of the reasons why we're using WSL. Rust just sometimes doesn't play well with Windows, as the Solana programs also don't play well with Windows. So now it's installing the Solana CLI. This is kind of the key thing that's going to allow you to deploy to the blockchain, check your balance, make new keys, and all that good stuff. Okay, and we are done. You can see it also checked the installations. We have Rust 1.90, so that's what I'm using for this. I'm also using the Solana CLI 2.3.13, and 24v9 is, this Ubuntu version. Okay, so now we can check what is next. So, okay, now we are going to first, I always like to do this first in case I was like testing first. It's always good to clean up the environment, so that's what this does. It goes to the projects folder and removes all the old stuff. So let's do that. This would be other installations maybe that I was doing before. And that should be pretty quick. There we go. And if you see this line here, that means the prior command is done. Sometimes it will like delay and nothing will happen, and that means it's working in the background. So if you don't see this line here, it means it's doing something. Okay, the next thing here is some of the fun stuff. So first we're going to create a new wallet and get some testnet SOL. And for this, I always create new wallets, and you're actually going to see the private key for this. I don't care because this is the test. It's also in the testnet. So if you want to try to use my private key, you can, but I mean, it's not real money, so whatever. Let's paste that in. Oh, sorry, I forgot to copy. Go back. Copy. One of the weird things about WSL is you have to right-click to paste. And so you do also, when you make a new wallet, it asks for a BIP39 passphrase. Like it says here, it doesn't improve security. It just helps to encrypt the data. Okay? There you go. And so you can see here, I've also asked it to give me my private key. This is because when you import into Phantom Wallet, it's going to want this. Like you can see here, it has the seed phrase, but I couldn't find a way to import. Oh no, you can actually import a seed phrase into Phantom with this, but it's going to be a different address, and that's because the way it derives this code is different from the way that Phantom derives the code. So again, this is why I have the private key here, and this will work in Phantom. One thing I notice here is that oftentimes you will try to, so the command to get an airdrop is right here, Solana airdrop 5. And it's doing it on DevNet because I've configured this to work on DevNet. Let me actually just double check to make sure we are on DevNet. Oh no, it's on mainnet. Okay, so this is why the airdrop's failing. So let me switch this to DevNet. Give me a second. All right, so these commands should work. First one is config. This is going to show me what my configuration is right now. And you can see right here, this is what it's going to show, but I can run it again just so you believe me. Oops, sorry. Oh. Here. Ugh, sorry, I forgot to copy again. Copy, minimize. Oops, where is this? Here we go. There we go. Paste. All right, boom. And so this command Solana config get is showing mainnet, and this is because I was actually deploying real stuff on the mainnet. If you want to switch that back to DevNet, you can run this command right here, which essentially just changes the URL to DevNet, which should be quite straightforward. Sorry, for some reason this copying is not working from here, which is really annoying. There we go. All right, and then I can okay, there we go, it's DevNet. Okay, so back to where we were. Now I'm going to request the airdrop again. Solana airdrop, and the maximum you can get is 5. This will actually create an on-chain transaction. You see here, this is signature, and now we have 5 SOL. If you want to check that, you can even do Solana balance, and it'll show you how much SOL is in this wallet. this command here, so the config essentially is a file that determines what keys you're using to deploy things, and that's what we did here. We created a new key and then we actually set it as our default. So right here, so this is create new key, and then this is set the key as our default. Okay, so now we have a new key. It is set as our default. This is on DevNet, and it has 5 Solana balance, and we know that because it's right here. Okay, so next step. Next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the WSL into. I'm going to copy this folder into WSL. To be honest, we don't really need to do this because in this example, there's not much there. But maybe in a different example, you'd have some complex program. Like for example, before I was building a DApp, and the DApp had like some randomization and it had a game, and that you can't really type that in. You could, but it's not convenient to type that into WSL. So what I was doing is I was essentially copying from my repo into WSL with this command. So we're going to do that here. Oh my god, it's so annoying that that copy doesn't work. Copy. Let's try that again. Paste. Okay, and it's just going to copy those files in. Again, not much, so it's fast. Next step here is, this is the juicy stuff. So we're actually going to start deploying a token. All right, so first what it'll do is say deploying token. Then it's going to run this command here, SPL token create token DevNet. This is the command that creates a token. All right, and then it's going to essentially create a variable called token mint, and it's going to copy all the output of this, this command. All right, and then it's going to create a token account. One of the annoying things about Solana is it has multiple different things. It has the program and it has account. And so I've just automated all that into these commands so I don't have to worry about it. So let's actually copy that and then paste that. There we go. All right, and we'll watch it happen. So deploying, it's creating mint token. So right now it's actually interacting with the blockchain. Okay, so that's what, where is that command? I just missed it. Here we go. Token mint, this is the transaction. Let's just let it happen because it keeps on glitching out. Okay, there we go. So this is the token mint. This is, I think, the actual token address that it created. This is the account, right? So the owner of that. You can see it minted 1,000 tokens. Again, here's the token address, and here's the owner address, and here's the signature, which is like the transaction hash. Cool. And as you see, token details, I've asked it to save this information into the WSL folder, just so it's saved and good for later, which I can actually show you right now since it created it. So right here, it should, oh, sorry, no, it's going to copy that later. So I'll show that to you later. All right, so now we have a token. We're almost done. The final thing is I'm going to update the front end so that my application that I'm going to use to show you this token actually works. And you could do this manually in VS Code, but I'm just going to do it in WSL because WSL already has the token mint address and the wallet address. And so it's just going to be easier since all that's already saved as a variable in Linux. Oh my god. This copy paste is annoying me. Copy, paste, there we go. All right, and it's updated the front end. And I think we're almost done in WSL. The main reason why we're using Linux here is for this stuff, the actual blockchain interactions. Okay, everything else you could actually do in a normal environment, but this you cannot do easily in a normal environment. I think we're almost done. Let's see. Oh, so this is going to create some other stuff. So let's do that. Paste that in. Nope, it's still not working. So annoying. Why is it not copying? This copy paste thing is really annoying me. Trying to make a nice video and it's failing because of something so simple as copy pasting. This is going to create a deployment log. Again, I'm just going to save all that information that's in WSL into VS Code so that it's there and easy to get. Things like the mint address and the wallet address. There's not much for this one, but if you're doing a more complex deployment, then it may be more information. Remember that, actually, let's save this right now. So this private key is what you're going to need in order to import this into Phantom Wallet, which is probably in your browser. So I'm going to just paste this in here just to be sure. So let's just go bum, 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 and save it in there, just so we have it. Okay, and I think we are done in WSL now. Oh, so I also have this step here. This is just going to essentially verify that everything happened correctly. So it's going to check the Solana Explorer to check that we have a token. It's going to check in my front-end files to make sure that it has the correct address. Just, it's going to check my balance and the token balance that we just created. So this is just to be safe, make sure everything was successful. So let's run this, and then we are done in WSL. Wallet balance. Okay, so you can see I have 4.9 Sol, the token balance. This is the token we just created. And here is the thing. Verification complete. All right, so we're almost done. This video is 15 minutes, so I should try to wrap it up as fast as possible. Let me show you this, and let me go live. So now we have this index file that I was talking about before. And the purpose of this index file is so that I can show you that I have this token. I'm not just making things up. Okay, so here's my very basic kind of token manager. So let me pause and import that key. I wonder if you can see this. Let me just pause. Okay, so from here I can show you this is adding account in Solana. I'm going to import private key. I'm going to call this test token and paste that private key in here. Boop. Oh no. Oh, it's probably a stupid copy paste error. Let's just copy that again. This is why I saved it in this file here, just to be safe. So copy that, paste that into Solana, incorrect format. There we go. Okay. And you can see 365 test token. And you need to change this to DevNet. So let's go to developer settings, testnet mode, Solana DevNet. All right, go back. And boom, there we have our unknown token and 4.9. In this tutorial, I'm not showing you how to actually assign the image and things like that because I want to do this really quickly. But now I should be able to refresh. I should be able to connect my Phantom wallet. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to connect my wallet. Let's just refresh. Here we go. You can see Phantom wallet popped up. Connect. What is this saying? SPL. Okay, give me a sec. I'm going to fix this error. Okay, fixed. I had some cores issues, so I used a different CDN. Okay, here we go. So we can see that the token we just deployed is now ready. You can see here's the mint address. It has got 9 decimals. We have 1 million tokens. We can refresh. And yeah, I have all these things. Let's actually like burn 69, 420. Burn token. Oh no. Okay, I'm not going to fix all these bugs, but you can see that we have successfully created a token. And technically it could burn and mint and send, but this testing file I have here is not perfect. But I don't really care. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Oh, and also if you want to support me, in the description there is a link to What Exchange. They're super awesome. They are like a DeFi futures trading platform. Really cool. I use them myself. Please use my referral code AlphaStack. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.